Hey, family, and welcome to the Critical Sense Making Sessions, a recap of episodes 1 through 10. Doing a recap of episodes 1 through 10. For those who may have missed some of the episodes, I wanted to just quickly go through and highlight some of the pearls that have came out, some of our episodes in past, and hopefully you all will get to go back and listen to those episodes and gather your own pearls from those conversations. And then hopefully, one, reach out because we would love to schedule you for a 2021 episode for Critical Sense Making Sessions, and to reach out and just subscribe to our channel, Revolutionary Rika, um, on YouTube. My Facebook is Rika Reek, I believe, and then my Instagram is Rika Reek 76, I believe, something like that. I'll get it straight the next one, but I want to run through and I want to go through just the pearls and wisdom from episodes 1 through 10. So episode 1, we had LaVette Grant on. She's a public school parent and a public. She works for city government or county government, and then her topic was education. And so she shared a couple of pearls, told us how she engaged with her children's teachers and how she engaged with the school. So a great episode to learn engagement strategies when dealing with educators as well as the school system. She recommended that educators um, put life skill classes back in schools. And so a lot of the things that we took for granted we would sometimes learn in school and sometimes at home, but would get reinforced at home were life skills, and it's just not happening. And so she did recommend that we get those back. And then lastly, she highlighted the need to develop strategies to destigmatize mental health so students would learn to access resources that are available to them. So we know that's big in the Black community. Most people run away from mental health, that term, but really looking to create more radical healing spaces that aren't conventional, that speak to the cultural needs of our young people and our people in general, and that are there to help us move beyond some of the things we've experienced so that we can help those coming up behind us. So I thanked LaVette for episode 1. And episode 2, we had Don Griffinstein, who was on. I'm sorry, Don. I'm having a blank moment. He came on to talk about local politics versus national politics, and he talked about the importance of attending local council and community meetings to voice our concerns. Um, he talked about the importance of connecting with local city and political leaders one to one to hold them accountable, but to establish strong relationships and partnerships to change outcomes for our communities. If you don't go out and meet with them and talk to them, you'll never know what it is they stand for and how you all can work together to improve the community. Lastly, to research the origin of organizations, words, and phrases that you engage with and utilize to ensure you do not perpetuate oppression or harm toward others. Don really highlighted that we use a lot of terms and a lot of different behaviors and things that we've learned to survive with. But when you really look up the meaning, it goes against our very morals and values and the things that we stand for. So I appreciate Don for sharing that one with us. Episode 3, we had Tulsi come on, and Tulsi talked about vaccines, which at this point in time, I think is a really good episode to go back and watch. The importance of educating yourself on the vaccine law. I believe it was 1986 that it came out, and then on the bills and the different vaccines and the dangers that they pose. I think it's important for us all to research that. The one thing that I really liked that she highlighted was respecting and celebrating our differences and commonalities. In this country, we have been categorized, characterized, all the rises, right? Characterized, I'm talking about characterized. I was trying to say it. But what we need is Black, Brown, and Indigenous unity. We are all facing the same racisms and the colonialist ways, the neoliberalism that continues to oppress us. It's important for us to be able to look beyond the skin color and the cultural traditions, because many of them are similar. And so really figuring out how to build solidarity so that we all can make the future better for our young people and our families. In episode 4, we had my boy, my brother, Sergio Suarez, Power Surge, who is a hip hop guru in the Bay Area. He's an educator, he is a mentor, he pushes social justice and education and hip hop as an avenue. I just appreciate him because he really highlighted why all educators should consider teaching the whole child when educating Black and Brown youth. We are not just sit there, trash receptacles that you can sit and pour information to. We learn by doing. We learn by exploring and trying things out. And if we never get to develop our critical sense making skills, we'll never be able to, move beyond the industrial revolution jobs that these school systems were created to produce the the working class for. And so it's important. We have to advocate for what we need and what our kids need. Lastly, develop your mentorship as a lifelong practice, remembering that you're always leveling up. If it's who you're being mentored by and who you're mentoring, with each new stage, you're continuing to mentor more people and encouraging them to do the same. So thanks, Sergio, for those pearls. And then episode 5, we had DeAnthony come on and talk about the knowledge of self. He talked about the need for honest conversations with those in power to discuss power, privilege, and oppression on a deeper level to eradicate racism. No more of these feel good talks and quick conversations around, we're not addressing the elephant. We're just going to talk about some things and say we call it DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, but really it's not really that. And so there is a need for that. There is a crucial need for that. He also talked about prioritizing scheduling quiet time to take an introspective look and evaluate your life. The only way to improve is to set that time aside. You can't multitask evaluating your life. You got to be quiet, you got to set it down, and you have to be willing to reflect and write and do the work. It's really important for us to be able to live and get into your purpose. You got to do the inner work. You got to work through those layers of trauma that you have hidden and suppressed for all these years so that you can show up in these spaces and do what's required of you. Strive for self-improvement in all areas of your life. The only way to do that is schedule a quiet time, do the introspective, do that work. Activate the courage to enter spaces, to use your voice, to advocate for yourself, your community, and in solidarity with other marginalized groups. We just heard that from Sergio. We just heard it from Tulsi in those last episodes. So just making sure that we are not afraid when we step into these rooms. Because here's the thing, we've lived afraid and we've accomplished stuff. I ain't gonna say we ain't accomplished nothing, but we're still in this area where we're trying to speak to the elephant, but really can't because we got to dance around because some people have to feel comfortable. That's the state of America. It's not a comfortable place. It's okay. How we gonna move through it is we're gonna address it. So advocate for youth voice in schools, programs, employment opportunities, etc. The youth are experts on their own existence. We have to ask them. We have to they know a lot of, they don't know everything, but they know a lot of stuff that can help them, that could inform the way that we design our schools, we design our programs that are connecting schools to career fields. Like, we got to do better. So I appreciate DeAnthony for coming in and having that conversation with us. Episode 6, my girl Kiki Simone came on and we talked about spirituality. And she talked about the need for spiritual development to move beyond religion, church rules, and traditions. She talked about just the way that we can all celebrate God through music. She talked about the need to seek awareness of God's presence. She said, wherever you are, whoever you are with, always show up authentically in your spiritual grounding. Authenticity is key. You can't be coming in there with the mask on because eventually the mask gonna come off. The pressure is gonna make it come off. Show up authentically. And that's the key to moving forward and being successful in a lot of the work that you have to do. Let go of all the things that are hindering you from the power and presence of God because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Then she says, before you can begin developing your spiritual life, you must be saved. Romans 10 in line. Believe in your heart, confess with your mouth. 7, everyone needs to know their purpose. Developing your spiritual life will reveal and confirm your purpose. So we talking about here. Number 8, learn to trust in God. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, he'll direct thy path. Lastly, go into your secret place and commune with God in prayer. Where your heart is, your mind will follow. Thank you, Kiki, for reminding us. Prayers, we have to pray sometimes in public, but that's not what it's about. Like going into your secret place, praying and that talking with God, we get to the real power of prayer, not just what I want people to remember. Oh, she can pray good because she said all those little prayer sayings. No, pray and talk to God, have an honest conversation, an authentic conversation with God. Thank you, Kiki. We appreciate your pearls of wisdom. Next, episode 7, Jim Crow and Me, My Story of Courage and Resilience. Miss Donna, not Diva Williams, came on in episode 7 and gave us a history lesson as well as an empowerment session. If you don't know her, look at Donna, not Diva Williams. She is on Facebook. She does daily at Donna daily at noon, which I call them little sermonettes because every day I'm walking away with something. But these are some pearls from our conversation. Believe in yourself because you have a right to be here. Education has always been paramount to the Black community. It develops understanding, and reading and writing are essential in connecting with others and thriving in life. Have the courage to address the microaggressions, oppression, and racism you face daily. We all represent our communities at all times. We have value and worth. We are champions. Show up to learn. And that's what, if you gonna go, you might as well learn something. It don't make no sense to go and not learn something. So I appreciate her for that one, for really lifting that one up. 6, learning through observation allows you to bring your best self into any room. Read the room and use your voice to tell and write your own story. So Ms. Williams, I appreciate you for always being honest and having those real conversations and reminding us on the things we need to be doing. If I'm showing up, I need to make sure I'm walking away learning something. So thank you. In episode 8, we heard from Omorede Hamilton, better known as Rico. He talked about community accountability. And so some of the things that I lifted up from that conversation was the village will plant seeds in you that you will harvest later. Look for the best in people. The village takes care of the village. Educate yourself. Education is not just academia. We have more spaces where education is happening. We all must do the required inner work to release the trauma that keeps us stagnant. We all must unlearn to learn. That's there it go again. Unlearning to learn. We've been conditioned. Always walk in integrity and follow our cultural traditions to develop accountability. We must develop a village mindset. Connect with your children regularly and develop a bond that will help them establish their voice and keep them on track. So thank you, Rico, for sharing those highlights. And then episode 9, we heard from Gina Frommer. She's the director over at Children's Council, I believe it is. Just an educator and advocate for a long time. She shared out some pearls from her topic, which was the education of Black children. And she talked about relationships over reforms. So students need teachers who care about them and empower them. She talked about schools need to establish a culture of care. When we come into school, the very first thing, it should be a hello, good morning, how are you, checking in, reading those faces, understanding what are the feelings that are happening with that young person. Education is a vehicle out of poverty. I love that one because a lot of times we think that when we think of schools, we think of education only coming from those schools. There's so many different avenues to education. And so it can help you elevate your mindset out of poverty. And so that, when she lifted up that one, I've been sharing that one ever since. Challenge yourself to master something, personal mastery. 5, exposure to positive role models. Education and personal mastery can help students rise out of poverty. 6, we need to develop a Black teacher pipeline. Next episode, which was episode 10, Tiago Robinson talks about African-American male achievement in Oakland that is really working to create a Black teacher pipeline. So that's what I like to see and hear. Educators need implicit bias, anti-racism, and cultural competency training. 8, we need a systems and population change. And 9, we should all be leading and serving in our communities. Everybody. Our community is the resource. We just got to tap into what's inside of us. It's buried. A lot of trauma, a lot of just pain and hurt from the years and years of dealing with the things that we deal with as people of color in this country. And so for episode 10, to round out our first 10 episodes, we have Brother Tiago Robinson on. He is a educator and he works for African American Male Achievement. It's now part of the district in Oakland. And so just wanted to highlight a few of the things that Tiago shared with us. You know, we need awareness and education on law enforcement. So employees, laws, policies, we need to know more. Engaging in school can shift your purpose. Definitely, when kids get engaged, the stuff that they used to be into and what they into now will change drastically. But it's about finding programs that are engaging. 3, to help others, you have to get yourself together first. I can't put my mask on. I mean, I can't help you put your mask on till mine is on. We need to keep the kids central to all aspects of the school. That's what it's for. A lot of times the teachers, they get all this tenure, they get all this stuff, and so they can be, it's about that teacher. We got to make sure that teacher is comfortable because of the union. What about this child who you saying that the school is open for? So I appreciate that, Brother Tiago. Educators must stay true to why they started this work. So if it's your calling, you got to remember that. Every day you get up and go in there with them young people and give them a new slate. That's just how it works. 6, we need to advocate for access and opportunity for our students. 7, we need to build a Black teacher pipeline. We just heard Gina say that in episode 9. So as episode 10, he talked about us doing that, which AMA is working on. We need to be together as a team and as a village. 9, police do not belong on our school sites monitoring our young people. They don't. It's time for us to take our communities, our schools, our young people, our families back and actually do what we know we need to do. Lastly, we need to build our own schools. And so, like I said, episodes 1 through 10, you heard anything, a lot of topics of education. You heard some spirituality. You got some history lessons in there. We talked about a little bit about mental health. We talked about did I say spirituality? I said spirituality, yeah. Spirituality, we talked about vaccines and we talked about diversity. We've talked about a lot in our first 10 episodes. I hope you will continue to tune in and learn about just about the challenges that we all face and how to make critical sense of what you've experienced, what you're doing now, and how we can really change outcomes for the future. Again, a recap of episodes 1 through 10. Once episode 20 airs, you'll get episodes 11 through 20. But right now, I just want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Continue to push out our podcast, Critical Sense Making Sessions, facilitated by yours truly, Revolutionary Rika. And we look forward to making critical sense with you.